Namaskar. I'm Ashok Vyas. Welcome to Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. On ITV Gold this Sunday, we have some important stories from the past week. Indian American community members as well as immigrants are especially concerned about the new ruling related to DACA, but this concern brings a ray of hope because Supreme Court has not favored the decision by President Trump. So on that front, what are the new developments? Aditi Lamba talked to acting Queensborough President Sharon Lee about DACA as well as about COVID-19 resources. Here are some highlights from that conversation.
And I have to ask you, the entire movement of Black Lives Matter, we have seen over a month of demonstrations and protests happening all across, especially a lot in New York City. What has been the borough's response to these demonstrations and these protests? And what do you have to say to the entire movement of Black Lives Matter?
I think the momentum is long overdue, and it is something that is absolutely welcome, certainly here in the borough families. The uprising is something that has been going on for quite some time. Police brutality is nothing new, unfortunately. But in terms of the momentum for change, being able to deliver change expeditiously is something that has been overdue and is something that hopefully will be able to continue. I think my small role and many folks' small role in this is to do everything possible to prevent anything that would extinguish this momentum, because these are important conversations that are being had. It is a rightful and righteous movement and protest. But in Queens in particular, I think we're setting an example here in Queens where we are able to protect and preserve the exercise of First Amendment while maintaining public safety, but also delivering justice without delay. Yeah. As we can see just in the last 2 weeks, there was an incident of an alleged chokehold being used on a black man in Far Rockaway. And within 24 hours, the department suspended the officer without pay, launched investigations, and that's plural. The charges against the person who was arrested were dismissed, all within 24 hours. Within less than a week, charges were filed against that officer who exercised what is now the banned illegal chokehold. And it's just remarkable because that incident happened in the wake of the signing of the Eric Garner Anti-Chokehold Act. I mean, the ink wasn't even dry before this incident. And so here in Queens, we were able to move very swiftly, I'm proud to say. And I don't think that would have happened without the uprising and the protest and the momentum that the protests have at this point in time.
In the weekly segment this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, Dr. Parikh deals with some important issues, and this week we talked about how we as as members of the society respond to someone's passing away. He also talked about Indo-China relationship, and there is a new drug, Ayurvedic drug, which caused some controversy for various reasons. We talked about that too. So here is a part of the conversation with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and it's my delightful honor to be welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh for this special edition this week. Dr. Welcome.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar. And as we begin, I want to begin today's show on a slightly philosophical note. we have seen many people leaving their human form, and many of them among Indian American important community members. Um, what way one should look at this, if I say this phenomena called death, because each one of us someday is going to disappear from here. So how is your process of responding to such sad news?
Well, well, any death, and particularly death of the known friend or known community leaders who you are, who you knew him for many years, is always sad news, and we always feel very saddened about it. But that shows that death is always certain, and that's the only thing in the life is certain, which is death. So so and it's unpredictable. We do not know when it comes. So therefore, we all human beings always be nice to each other, respectful to each other, and helpful to each other. And if you do that, then after death, people will remember your legacy.
I think that's beautifully put, Dr. And staying with this, some people feels low about imagining that they won't be around, and some people are optimistic, as you were sharing. So, any special insight based on your experience that you can share that would help someone change his or her response to?
Well, I mean, only thing I can say that always in the life, you should be positive in thinking. You should be surrounded by positive people around you. And if you do that, probably your thinking will change. You will become more positive and more philosophical, because always, I mean, anything you can see with the two different eyes, either glass half full or glass half empty. So we have to learn to be positive.
Absolutely. And what I hear from you reminds me of the address by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Mann Ki Baat, where he said a lot of people are saying when this 2020 would go, because a lot of challenges coming up. But he stressed that we should see the positive, even in that which appears to be very challenging. And taking a cue from Mann Ki Baat, before we talk about Indo-China relationship, talk to me about your impression with respect to Prime Minister Modi's leadership in leading our nation during these challenging moments.
I think in Mann Ki Baat, the leadership of the Narendra Bhai Modi, Prime Minister Modi, is very exemplary, and it's very inspirational. And he has that art of convincing people, or art of making his point of view that you should not worry about calamity or pandemic. I mean, of course, you should concern about pandemic and calamity, but always it's a law of nature that from any bad thing, always good thing comes up, and you should look that positive way rather than crying about negative thing.
Absolutely. And now moving towards his recent address to the nation, in which a lot of schemes were announced. And one of them is very, very important, I believe, which is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, that is going to provide free food grains to over 80 crore people at the cost of 90,000 crore rupees. It looks like a very, very well thought scheme, which is extended for 5 more months. Your response to this?
I think kudos for that. I would give kudos to the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, because this is really important, because whenever this kind of pandemic happens, always the poorest of the poor are the sufferer, most sufferer, I mean, proportionately. So by giving them ration, free ration for next 6 months or end of the year, it is excellent idea, and that relieves those poorest of the poor's important worry where they're going to get their meal, daily meal without money. And I think this is a great uh, uh, offer by government of India to our poorest of poor, and we all must congratulate Prime Minister for that.
Well, now, there are two ways of looking at a leader's initiatives in terms of when you evaluate based on the results. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being criticized by opposition for not having succeeded in its foreign policy, especially with respect to China, because of what we have seen in the Galwan, and then the tension between these two nations continues. So there are many historical backdrops to this scene. But how do you respond to this way of criticizing Prime Minister Modi?
Well, I mean, constructive criticism is always welcome. And even though criticism doesn't mean that the people who are criticizing are not with the Prime Minister. We all should be with the Prime Minister or Government of India at this time of when there is a threat from the outside. And but as long as there is a constructive criticism, and if criticism has some merits, I think criticism should always be welcome, and see whether anything can be done to improve the situation.
And now here is the thing which I am not sure whether we know exact details, because nobody seems to know. But there is a news that in 2008, Congress party signed a memorandum of understanding with Communist Party in China, and that was in the presence of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji himself. Sonia Gandhi was also there, and that picture has come where Rahul Gandhi is signing that memorandum of understanding. Now, somebody has filed in court that they want to know the details of what was it that they agreed upon. And since Congress has been very critical, Rahul Gandhi has raised many questions. So people are kind of criticizing Congress for not being pro-national or pro-India. Again, objectively, how do you see this scenario based on the backdrop of that memorandum?
Well, I mean, we don't know the facts. We don't know the whole story. So it's hard to give the opinion on that. But I think certain story about national security is always confidential. Only the government of the day knows what is right and what is wrong. So I think general public should not comment on this thing, and should trust the government of the day, and always you hope that the government of the day is doing the best, whatever best for the country, and we should keep supporting them.
Okay, here is another. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There is another story which is related to India's stand on Siachen Glacier. They said that there was a proposal by Manmohan Singh ji's government to create a peace or Shanti Parvat, to which the then Chief of Army, Mr. Singh, opposed. And that is mentioned in a book by Sanjay Baru, and there is another book also which talks about it. And General Singh has also given some interviews in Indian media which substantiate that it was so, and he was. So this again connects with the narrative that the approach of Congress government was different than the Modi government.
That is true. That is true, because right now, under Modi, Prime Minister Modi's government, we are stronger. We are militarily stronger. We are economically stronger. We are, advanced quite a bit from 10 years ago. So I think obviously our government, our country is much stronger today than 10 years ago.
So now the question about our country being strong and finding ourselves in a situation where Chinese either entered the sensitive space and 20 of our soldiers were martyred, and then the counter steps on economic front which are initiated by Modi government, including a ban to 59 apps. How do you look at this initiative?
I think it is very good initiative, because that ban not only Chinese company, but is banning or protecting the national security, because quite a few of this app is a cyber kind of spying app, and so we don't know which one is what. So that's why I think banning of those app is a great idea. And I think even India should do one more thing. I mean, China only listens to India. I mean, of course, if we resolve by diplomatic way, there is nothing like it. But if not, then India should kind of do something with the other Quad countries in the Indian Ocean, or in the where the China is very weak on the sea level in the defense. So if you do that, then probably China will come to the bargaining table and will agree to what is right and what is wrong. So
now,
it means we have to show our strength, and always sometime if diplomacy doesn't work, then we have to be a little more aggressive and more bully, and we should hit the China where it hurts to them.
So now, considering the Chinese economy as compared to Indian economy, and if you compare the export and import between the two countries, indeed India has a huge deficit with respect to its trade with China. So, but there are many exporters who depend on their exports to China. So, do you foresee a potential spiral negative effect on Indian economy because of these measures?
Well, I mean, that government has to figure it out which way they should act, which does not affect our Indian economy that much. But once you are going into this kind of path, it's a kind of slippery slope kind of thing, and then you may end up having a short-term negative effect on our economy. And that's why I think India should kind of start some pressure in the South Asia Sea, near Indian Ocean, or near Andaman Nicobar Island, where a lot of Chinese trade is happening through that sea, and where there is a weakness for them. So we can do some tit for tat, and that that may work sometime. Or India has to involve other 4 countries like Japan, Australia, to figure it out, a combined or common strategy to deal with the Chinese aggression.
I think that's a very good point. If there is a collective step with a coalition among a couple of countries, including some important countries like America, on economic front also for China, that might bring about some desired results. But at this point, while America has expressed its support for India, there are other steps that Trump administration has taken, including H-1B restriction, etc. So there is a complex relationship between India and America at this point of time, maybe because of this COVID-19, or how do you see it's likely to get resolved as we move towards presidential election?
Well, I mean, it is not this time only. It always says that in the world politics, there is no permanent friend and no permanent enemies. Whatever suits your country's interest, it's a right thing to do that moment. So we cannot lump into USA help to USA offer to help the India against China with the H-1B visa, because they are two completely different things and is unrelated thing in a way. So, in the global politics, wherever your interests make sense, you must take that advantage of that help from outside. And of course, so don't, you cannot connect that, oh, okay, because he suspended H-1B visa, so we should not take his America's help in against China. I think that's not the way world politics works, and therefore every country has to see what is at that moment, what's the best interest in of their interest of country.
I think you said it beautifully, and that pragmatic approach is sometimes called diplomacy, sometimes called that you put your own nation's interest first, and then you do not uphold some of the promises that, in principle, you make for the other countries. But moving towards the phase of opening up in India, important steps have been taken to extend the lockdown up to 31st July in Maharashtra and West Bengal, and the opening is very slow. We all want to move back to a normal state of living, but airlines are not opening up, and so this is causing a lot of mental turmoil, and then mental health requires additional attention. What do you think should be done, and what is it that personally you feel you can sort of initiate to take care of this growing problem of mental health?
Well, I mean, when there is a lockdown like this, or when there is a stay-home order like this, or when you cannot open certain businesses, or reopening is very slow, or you might have to even reverse the reopening, all these things bound to cause some mental, emotional upset into different people, and different people digest differently. And so it is good to to reopen slowly, but again, everyone has to be very responsible. All citizens has to be responsible. They have to wear the mask. They have to do personal hygiene, and they have to keep the distance, because we know that by doing that you can beat this virus. If you don't do that, and if you once you reopening doesn't mean that you have permission to not to keep the distance and permission not to wear mask and so forth. So I think not only government's responsibility, but each and every citizen's responsibility to behave responsible way for their own health or own health. So they say that not only stay home or stay healthy, but stay smart.
So, with that sense of staying smart, your concluding remarks and also touch upon the need to pay special attention towards mental health.
Well, I would, dear friends, I think as we are slowly reopening ourselves, and small businesses are reopening, some businesses will have challenge, particularly like restaurant, indoor dining, and theaters, and gyms, and salon, and those kind of places where there is difficult to keep the distance. You should not worry or miss about those things. And if you are really emotionally kind of upset about whole thing, I would advise to take some medical help, because this is the only way to keep yourself out of emotional turmoil. And so we'll see you. So please, again, as I say, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay smart. We'll see you next week.
The world is changing. No more real events, but virtual world has taken over the real world in big way and in effective way. In some cases, one example was the event virtually organized by Akshaya USA, which involved celebrities, as was the case traditionally in real events, and also raised substantial funds to support the activities of Akshay Patra. And here are some highlights where you will also see celebrity chef Sanjeev Kapoor, actor Boman Irani, and Vinita Bali. So here are some glimpses from this virtual gala to support Akshay Patra USA.
Boman mentioned about throwing away food, and you mentioned about that there is plenty of food in the world. Is there enough food in the world? What do you have to say? Why are people still not getting food?
And some.
Yeah,
And some.
actually, the world, if let's start with the world, there are 7.5 billion people, but the world grows enough food to feed 9.5 billion people. So everything else being equal, as we economists like to say, nobody should actually go hungry because we produce enough food for 9.5 billion people. But two very interesting things happen to food. And these are not my estimates. These are estimates done by several agencies, etc., including in India. So 35 to 40% of food is actually wasted or lost. I mentioned 180 million people in India are chronically hungry, and this is before COVID, and this is before the migrants started going home. The nutrition and hunger is actually worse now. FAO estimates there are about 900 million, 850 million people in the world who are chronically hungry, which means they never get enough of the calories, not through macronutrients, and certainly not through vitamins and minerals, which are the micronutrients, which are so essential for nutrition. So which is why, the first goal of the SDGs is zero hunger. And that zero hunger the world is supposed to attain by 2025, and by all accounts, we are going to be nowhere close to it.
I want to ask Boman, you mentioned that before you went into photography, you were at a shop. Did you say that? What shop?
Yes. I'll tell you. It was my mother. When my father died, we're a family of shopkeepers. My grandfather started the business. My father ran it's a little dukan. It's a little dukan in a dead end behind Novelty Cinema in the Grand Road district, the theatre, cinema district. And we had a bhatti, and we had a coal bhatti, coal sega, and a tawa, and a big kacha to remove potato chips, wafers. We call them wafers. Yeah, so we used to buy potatoes, peel, slice, wash, and fry them. And I used to do that myself. Wear a bandana, and I thought it looked pretty cool in those days. And I thought, that's where I met my wife. Actually, she was the only one who thought it was cool. The others found it sweaty. And I used to fry wafers, do all that, thing, and we used to sell garma garam wafers. And it was something that I had settled down, and I think because I was a shopkeeper for so long, I needed the escape through creativity in some form. So I used to write a lot at that point of time. I used to read a lot of scripts at that point of time. I used to do a lot of acting, reading and workshopping. I used to make notes. I used to observe my customers. I used to do character studies of my customers and things like that. It was great. It's just that my body and my clothes always stunk of ghee.
You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. This program comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. And a weekly segment of Vision of Asia is shown on ITV Gold every Sunday at 11 a.m. We appreciate your continued support and encouraging response to our programming with the request to continue to be with us. Also, stay with us. We'll be right back after these short messages. International Day of Yoga has become very important for the whole world. This year, due to COVID-19, it was organized in different ways. After 21st June, in the next Sunday, which was 28th June, Consortium of Yoga Partners, Consul General of India and ITV Gold organized an event virtually to mark International Day of Yoga. It was titled Invoking Oneness. Here are some glimpses from that event. Namaskar. I'm Ashok Vyas. Welcome to this special program which is dedicated to yoga. International Day of Yoga is observed across the globe now. This was 6th year on 21st June, initiated by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accepted by United Nations with the support of many countries. And the essence of yoga is to unite. That which unites is yoga. How to go about realizing this unity within as well as with everything around us, be it other human beings or other species or plants and trees. This sense of beauty of oneness is the main teaching of Bharat. That is Vedanta.
Friends, yoga enhances our quest for a healthier planet. It has emerged as a force for unity and deepens the bonds of humanity. It does not discriminate. It goes beyond race, color, gender, faith, and nations. Anybody can embrace yoga.
In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna reminds us, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam is equanimity. It is not being too high, not being too low in the face of contrast of situations which are favorable or unfavorable. There is so much that yoga offers to us in terms of enjoying the life in its totality. And in totality, the expression diversity and unity in diversity becomes a part of our lives. In this special program on ITV Gold, which is brainchild of many organizations, but today, as I have the good fortune of addressing you, is the dream of three dedicated individuals. One, Nitin Vyasji from World Vegan Vision, Mahesh Vaniji from Malakham Federation USA, and Niren Chaudhary ji from an organization that relates to northeastern part of India, which is Assam Foundation of North America. So thanking these three individuals, moving towards starting this special offering dedicated to awareness of yoga, which is absolutely phenomenal. We begin by acknowledging the contribution of Consul General Sandeep Chakravorty ji, who has also partnered with this celebration of yoga. And here we have a brief lighting of diya ceremony at the Indian Consulate, in the presence of Indian Consulate himself and other members of World Vegan Vision, including H.K. Shah. Deepo Jyoti Parabrahma, Deepo Jyoti Janardana, Deepo Haratu Medvantam, Sambit Dvipa Namostute. Shubham Karotu Kalyanam, Arogyam Sukha Sampada, Dvesha Buddhi Vinashaya, Atma Jyoti Namostute, Atma Jyoti Pradiptaya, Guru Jyoti Namostute. This is my great honor and pleasure to present a special greeting and message from Chairman of ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media, Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, to mark International Day of Yoga.
Kudos to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he made yoga or he increases awareness of yoga internationally. So I'm very proud of that my Prime Minister of India, Honorable Narendra Bhai Modi, has made in 2015, June 21st is a International Yoga Day. Yoga is really a great thing one can do. One should incorporate yoga as a part of the daily activities. And you don't need much time, 15 to 20 minutes of yoga, any form, either respiratory breathing or stretching or bending or asanas or whatever you do. That 15-20 minutes of yoga will boost your immune system, definitely, makes you more energetic, and your day will start better and will end better. And if you do that, then you will see that your overall health will be great, and you feel and you will feel subjectively and objectively very healthy. So I wish everyone that please do that, and I wish everyone who is promoting yoga should keep promoting the yoga. Thank you, and again I thank my Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Seniors have various facilities which help them, and AristaCare is a big name in that direction, especially in New Jersey, Cedar Oaks. AristaCare organized an event where among many important delegates, Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh was also present, and he took sincere interest in the activities of AristaCare, talked to Mukund, Thakar, and here are some highlights from that conversation.
For more information, call me 1-800-328-7013.
Give us a little bit of history about your relationship with our Indian program at AristaCare. How long have you been?
Well, that time during our banquet time, we gave, I think Sudhir also came that day. And both we gave them platform to, and that time 1,000 people were there in that dinner time, it's a banquet time. And then from there, of course, through my newspaper, through my TV, we are promoting AristaCare for last almost since inception, 2005. And also word of mouth too, because I'm very well respected in the community. I was honored by Government of India twice for my philanthropic work. And US-India relations is the highest civilian award, which given to only few people, less than 50 out of 1 billion. So it's like a congressional medal kind of award, yeah. And then I also got knighted by Pope in the Vatican. Yes, for my philanthropic work, and that's why I'm Sir now. I'm Knight of Malta. So, and of course, lot of community work, lot of philanthropic work. I involved in all the NGOs and all the Indian organizations. So. This initiative of Dr. Thakar and Sydney, it's really, I understood right away, and it's very appreciative. Because see, our culture is little different than American culture, because all this, our parents, they came from India, right? they have certain kind of routine of what to eat, what food to eat, right? And plus how to pray the God and all sorts of things. And how to, recreation, like a certain festival we celebrate, schedules, celebration, all those things makes big difference. So I think, and my mother-in-law was here from 2007 to 2015 as a resident in AristaCare. So I used to come almost every day. My wife used to come almost every day, not almost, but every day to spend some time with her. So I'm very much aware of this thing, and so when my mother needed this kind of facility for because of the fracture of the knee, I say the best place I can take you is AristaCare, and we know Ankita, we know Mukund Bhai, and of course I know Sydney. So I felt very confident about bringing.
You know Sydney's my brother, right?
Huh?
Sydney's my brother, you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So now I know you too. So, so I think whatever.
The actor calls me his brother's brother.
Oh, I see. So I think you have great. You are not only doing a medical kind of service, but you are doing a community service. It's a great community service to our Indian community, because you may not appreciate fully how much blessing you are getting out of these old people, because you see, these are the parents whose children, they are well-meant children, but they are so busy in their own life, own work, do not have enough medical facility or ability to provide everything at home, and what you are providing is a home away from home. Let me say one sentence: a home away from home, and you cannot go. Nobody can ask more than that.
Thank you so much, Sudhir bhai. This program is for me, my heart and soul. I put my heart and soul in it. Not only that, but my 3 daughters, 3 son-in-law, also my son and his wife, my daughter-in-law. We are completely think that this is our parents and grandparents. So we are never thinking about the business. We never even thinking about we are doing like a nursing home work. Even though my staff, if you go in another nursing home or another facility, there's a residence. We never say residence. We say ba, that means mother. We say dada, this means grandpa. We are calling like that. Dada, you want to eat? Dada, you want to drink? Ma, ba, you are hungry? We are talking like that. So they think that this is our family, So this whole concept and this whole program is not created by me, created by God. And our first God in our religious book, in a first page, they write down that first God is a mother, second God is father, third God is your teacher who teach you from layman to wise man, and the teacher, the guru teach you, the religious guru, the educated guru, they make you a real man, they make you a perfect person. So and then God number came at 4, and when God say, if you avoid all these 4 people, and if you come to my temple, I will never smile for you, I never even open eye for you. So this is our religious, this is our culture, and God sent me from India to here because of this is the only one program complete in America. People came from LA, Texas, Chicago, Florida, from everywhere. And we promised to the community, we promised to the God, we are business later on, but we are serving as our own parents. Believe me, sometimes I never sleep at night, sometimes I cry, sometimes I saw someone, my parents are suffering. I'm sit down together at like 4 o'clock in the morning and pray for them. This is not a business. This is not. So people are from LA, Texas, Chicago, don't know me personal. They know my name, And if they send my loved one in my facility and I not give them care, I have to answer God in heaven too. So I'm not going to any kind of things, whatever supposed to be do. I am definitely, me, my family and all my staff, I will do definitely whatever I have to do with my parents.
When we joined my father, one thing he said is they are old, they cannot go to the temple every day like in India. Back in the days, they go to temple before they start their day. So that's what we do here. They do prayers before they do anything in the morning. So, and same in the evening, and that's what they do in India. And my father said they cannot go in the temple now. So we have to bring temple here. So we have to do all the festivals here, all the celebrations here, so they feel home. And whenever we celebrate the festival, we celebrate it just like they do it in the temple. So they don't miss out on anything. And that is very important to them at this age.
It was so nice to see. They were all smiling. They were all so happy. And I am new to the facility, so this was my first experience. It was very, very nice. And you can see how being here constantly with the interaction from staff, from other residents, it's so beneficial for them.
Consul General Sandeep Chakravorty connected with community members, organized many events with openness. He embraced concerns and considered various initiatives to find innovative ways for helping the community. Much loved Consul General Sandeep Chakravorty left for India last Sunday, and here are some highlights from an event to mark farewell for the Consul General, which was organized at New Jersey. Take a look.
My dear friend Sandeep ji, Mrs. Sandeep ji, Mrs. Chakravorty, and our friend DCG Satrugna Sinha ji. Really, what I say, I echo what Anil says, that we really going to miss a great friend. And really, you are so popular, so proactive, so easily approachable, and you have done even sometime going a little way out of your routine and help people, those who needed help. And really, we all appreciate that, particularly FIA appreciate that. And today, it's really a sad thing that we don't have our buddy Ramesh here with us, because I'm not only his close friend, but I was also his doctor. So I feel so bad, but I was kind of little lucky that 2 hours before he passed away, I had a FaceTime with him through the ICU nurse. And really, we missed him. He has done this, what he has done for FIA, nobody else can do it. And what FIA, I would suggest all the FIA trustee that we should start some foundation to leave his legacy. And Sandeep ji, really will miss you. And as Anil says, next time we're going to see you in Washington, DC. We'll come and do the reception for you. And you can and really, please keep in touch. You can always count on us, count on me personally. We are friends, and we remain as a friend. And please be in touch and be with all our community friends. Thank you.
Especially all of us at FIA are very happy that you get to go home after a very successful posting in New York as the Consul General of India. But we admit, you can see it, that we are sad for losing you, your counsel, and your company. And I want to take this moment to let you know how fortunate I personally have been to be able to work with you and your team. You have been unbelievably approachable and so helpful. And again, thank you for your kindness, and the FIA family members, including trustees and the executive team, wish you and your family the best of health and incredible happiness for years to come. And most importantly, we really wish to see you come back as an India's ambassador to the United States.
I had the opportunity, when I came in 2017, Andy was the president, and then 2018 Srujal was the president, 2019 Alok, and 20. So मैं 3 साल में 4 president के साथ काम किया, so I am very lucky. And this year we had great plans for 2020, 50 years of FIA and 40 years of the parade. हम लोग already discussions कर चुके थे over several lunches and all that. We were planning an event in the UN. In fact, UN में hall booking की भी बात हो रही थी. And then we had ideas of whom to get. We had exchanged mails, and I was trying to get messages from President and Prime Minister. So unfortunately, COVID has just stalled everything for the last 4 months. But during COVID also, Anilji, you know, we worked together, and FIA worked with us, and बहुत लोगों को मदद पहुंचाई आप लोगों ने, and हम लोग constant coordination में थे. And to me, I like the FIA format and framework because it is a pan-Indian organization. It doesn't belong to any region. People from all communities have been your presidents, and they continue to be. You take everybody together. And I think the biggest tribute to Dr. Ramesh Bhai would be that if FIA spreads its wings and become more inclusive and take, because जब 50 years पहले FIA बना था, then there were only so many Indians and so many communities, but now it has become such a huge Indian presence in the tri-state and everywhere else.
And now time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia Voice of the Community, but it is important in the process of reopening after COVID-19's very, very crucial impact on New York, we need to observe the precautions of maintaining safe distance, social distance, as well as wearing masks in public places. As you are aware, the effect or the dangerous footsteps of COVID-19 have not gone totally away in various states of United States of America, as well as in several countries. It is still rising. So while we thank that we are over that phase in New York, New Jersey areas, Connecticut area, yet we need to take all the necessary precautions for our own individual safety as well as for the safety of people around us. So on that note, wishing good health, good life for each and everyone. Thanks a lot for being a part of Vision of Asia, a voice of the community and ITV Gold family. This is Ashok Vyas.